Hello and good afternoon. Well, you can see me today. Sorry about the video last night, but I was terribly tired. And I knew that my niece would be coming to take away the little baby things that I'd done for Abby. She thinks that the pink one will fit her, if only for a short while, but it will fit her. So anyway, I hope you can see me. I think it's a bit tilted, the camera, but never mind. Hope for the best. Well, I'm in a much better frame of mind this morning. I went to the hospital to see the dietitian. With a heavy heart, I must say, and the dreaded, you usually get the person who's never had weight problems or issues in their life, looking down their nose at you and telling you basically, why don't you just stop eating your fat slop? I know they don't say that actually, but you can tell that's what they mean. By the way, that's not anybody coming in. I live in a very strange house that appears to be tilted some way or another, and none of my doors will stay shut. So every now and again it clicks open and everybody goes, "Whoa!" And we always say, oh, it's just the ghost. It isn't a ghost at all, it's just the fact the house leans. So anyway, like I said, my niece dropped me down, which is great help because it costs me a fortune in taxis to go to the hospital because it's quite a way away. And I went thinking, oh, here we go. And a very lovely young man introduced himself and started chatting to me. Asked me what all my problems were, and I told him. And apparently I hadn't been referred to a psychologist, as the other bloke said he would do. So after discussing all different things with me, I don't want to go into it on here, but he decided that I do need a psychologist to address my issues with food and everything. But instead of giving me lectures and telling me what not to eat and whatever, he basically had said, all I'm going to concentrate on doing in the next couple of months before I see you is getting you into an eating pattern, because I don't have one at the moment. I just eat whenever, whatever, which isn't helping my diabetes at all. And he said, that's the only thing, that's your homework, obviously he wants me to try and eat healthier, but it wasn't a big issue. He didn't make a big scene about it. He didn't, slap my hand, oh my God, you're eating all the wrong things. I mean, I already admit it, what I eat. And he said, well, that's half the problem. He said, you're facing up to the fact that you know you're eating wrong. He said, what we've got to address is why you're eating wrong and what makes you do things that you basically know is wrong and hurting yourself. And that's what he says he needs to get to the bottom of, which is what I agree, because that is what I wanted in the first place. I want somebody to address the reasons why I do what I'm doing, which is harmful to myself. Anyway, I came out and my niece said to me, you look quite happy. And I said, well, he's just told me to carry on basically what I'm doing. I've actually lost over £5 since they saw me last. Not him, but they saw me last. I've lost over £5. And he gave me the go-ahead to eat the ready meals and to just put portions of steamed veggies. I could buy frozen ones, it doesn't matter, because he knows my problems with standing cooking and stuff. And he said, I'm not going to give you a diet sheet, I'm not going to give you anything. He said, you know what you're supposed to be doing. He said, but you've been told you can't eat the ready meals because they're bad for you and it's this, that and the other. He said, I'm saying no, just choose wisely. But there's nothing wrong at all with eating the ready meals. He said, they're probably better for you than the snacking that you're doing now. He said, we'll cross the bridge of what you're actually going to be eating once I get you established into a proper meal pattern. So I thought, oh, that's good. For once I wasn't made to feel little, humiliated, lectured. He actually sat and he listened and he said, you're telling me that you know why you're doing it in a way, but you don't know why you've got this compulsion to do it. He said half the people who come in here deny everything. They deny that they're eating the wrong things. They deny, according to them, they're eating 5 fresh things a day and they're doing this, that and the other. He said, you've come in and you've openly admitted what you're doing. So he says that is half of the battle. He said what we've got to do now is do the other half of the battle. So I felt really liberated, really, because I'd gone in thinking, oh, here we go, big lectures, which I've always had in the past. People telling me Well, they don't actually say you're dumb and stupid, but they imply you must be dumb, you must be stupid because you know what you're supposed to do and you're not doing it, yeah? He actually sat and listened to what I had to say, and he's going to refer me to this psychologist, which is what I wanted in the first place. And he said, well, what did you talk about when you went last time? And I said, well, he spent half the time talking to me about gastric band surgery. I said, which is not what I'd asked for. And he said, well, why? He said, you're not. He said, that is an option that we offer to people who are massive, huge, who literally won't diet or won't even try, He said, when all else has failed, he said, I don't know why he told you that you had to say agree to the programme, to get the help you need. He said, because no, you don't. He said, I'm sure we can, get you sorted out to diet without anything. So I feel relieved now that I've not got that hanging over my head. I know some people in this world would love to be offered a gastric band surgery. And for some people it does work. But I just can't foresee myself for the near future having to monitor everything I eat, make sure I got the vitamins I needed and stuff like that. I'm much better off with healthier options, I think. Anyway, I feel quite happy that I can go and eat what's in my freezer and not feel guilty. Anyway, today I've got another book, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit my reviews to just 2 books and do the other 2 on another day. And I've also, I think I told you the other day that I got myself some Crocs. Well, I got some purple ones. Yay! My favourite colour. I mean, I'd already bought the red ones when I saw the purple ones for sale. Well, I had to buy them, They are shoes that I wouldn't have been caught dead in years ago. And I also bought myself a new pair of wide-fitting shoes, comfy shoes, what they call cosy feet. These are what I call grandma shoes, yeah? But what's the heck of me trying to pretend that I'm young and I'm glamorous and I'm going to wear these heels and pointy toes and when I'm not, yeah? So I might as well just give in gracefully and buy a pair of shoes that I can walk in. Well, I'm pushing 70 this year, so what's the point in me trying to be 16? No point at all. Right, what shall I start off with? I'll start off with the boho crochet. I think we'll do the boho crochet and the granny square crochet today. I mean, I had to get boho crochet even though I didn't know what was in it, because it's boho, isn't it? And that's what I would aim to be. Excuse me for showing all my straps and that. I realise now why somebody didn't want this dress, because all the facings flirt forwards. So it's going to go into my little pile of things to do on the sewing machine. And also, I discovered I've got a split seam. It wasn't there when I bought it, but it's there now. I must have sat on it funny and ripped it. That's the trouble with this flimsy material, it tears so easily. I've got a couple of things in the hanging on a back rail. Just, tears down the side, or more like frays actually, aren't they? Anyway, we'll go back to boho crochet. This is by Marinka, or Wink. Slump, as she called her. Slump. The poor lady we were talking about in that last video. This is called boho crochet. It's got different sections. This one's called crochet for the home. I mean, I might consider myself to be boho-ish, but I don't have cushions everywhere, with granny squares on them. Well, the main thing is Buster would get his paws stuck in the holes and he would just pull threads all over them, so not a good idea while he's still in the land of the living. That one's called a vintage fan ripple blanket. To me that's not sort of granny squares, but I suppose it's granny-ish, isn't it, on those themes. That's quite pretty. It's called an Annie blanket. It's not granny stitch again, but again it's supposed to be boho this anyway, so I suppose it is old-fashioned boho. That's your traditional granny square cot blanket, but done in baby shades, of course. That's got a different, better picture of it. I like granny squares, but I find it difficult to concentrate long enough to make, you know, something like that, which is a bedspread. I'm not one of these people who can do a long-term project, one that I'm going to start and know this is going to take me a year to do it. No. I like to start a thing and do it start to finish. The most things I usually have on the go at once is a couple, yeah. When I was younger, I used to have lots of things on the go, but I find I just can't concentrate at all these days. I have to concentrate on what I'm doing and finish it, start to finish. That's another one that's little circles and big circles. I'm not a lover of circles, as you know, if you knew me very well. And that, whilst it's very pretty, it's too holy for me. It's just decorative, isn't it, really? Most of my things have to have a function. You know, either clothing or something functional. I mean, they may look very pretty, that's a starfruit rug. But I'm very clumsy, as you know, and I fall over nothing. So I don't think a crocheted rug on the floor would be a good idea with me. I'd probably got my toe fast in it and put an eye out or something. Yes, I mean, I do love the granny square pillows and things like that, but they're just not practical when you've got an animal, you know. They weren't practical when I had a cat, you know, because he would get his paws and claws and everything, yeah. These are just closer up pictures. That's quite nice. I mean, that's a chevron pillow. There's not so many holy bits for animals to get there. But to be honest, I wash everything so much with Buster. I mean, we've spoken about his problems, haven't we, before? So, I mean, my days is a constant round of washing, you know, so that things don't smell. So I don't feel like crocheting all these cushions, you know, to put them in the washer every day. Yeah. Now, I do love these mandalas, but I would have to find another use for them, really. They're very pretty and they look very decorative. But to me, I would want to use that as a centre for a waistcoat or something, you know? Not just have it as a mat. I mean, I've made crocheted mats before, you know, to put your drinks on. And I find that they're very uneven, you know, especially if you've got a wine glass, you know, and things tip over. I mean, that's a Pico Edge mandala, whatever you want to call them. But to me, that's just a mat, it's just a fancy name for a mat. I think I said before that that brings back memories of the shop. We always had a chair, you know, for the old ladies to sit on, or the pregnant ladies to sit on, or anybody who just felt tired to sit on. And because we didn't have a lot of room when we moved shops, we had to get rid of a chair. So we bought, well, we didn't buy, we acquired this stool. But it was very sort of heavily varnished, or whatever you want to call it, on the top, gloss painted or everything. And everybody that sat on it started to slip and slide, and I was very much afraid that some old dear would sit on it and go sliding off the end and hurt herself, yeah. So we crocheted it a little, nothing as glam as this, but we crocheted it a lid. So, you see, these are very pretty as motifs, you know, if you want to stitch them onto something. You know, if you make a very, very plain cardigan for a baby or for yourself, you can jazz it up with a few flowers. I'm renowned for putting flowers on everything. I've never actually made a wreath, you know, although I keep thinking that I would make one at Christmas, you know, for the front door. You know, get a polystyrene or a wire frame and make some Christmassy colours, you know. And these are Christmas baubles, which wouldn't really be any use to me because my whole Christmas tree is only about 2 foot tall. Thank you, Amy and Barry, for my Christmas tree. So they would be a bit big on my little Christmas tree. Those are very pretty pot holders. But again, I'm a devil when I'm doing anything. If I've got anything on the stove, I tend to burn my pot holders. You know, they're all full of singes, you know. So, as I say, the lace crochet coasters are very pretty. But I'm very, very clumsy, and if anything's a bit wobbly, you know, and I put my drink down, that's it. I don't have a cafetiere or whatever you want to call them. Well, actually I do, but I don't use it. so I wouldn't be making one of those. I don't know why, but whether it's the coffee I buy, but I find fresh coffee very bitter, you know. I'm just a pleb, and I just like the instant coffee where you put a spoon in, you know. Same with the cozies, mug cozies. I know that the idea is to keep your coffee warmer, but you know, if you dribble down them, it means you have to wash them every time you've used, you know, the coffee dribbles down. That's a headband, which I wouldn't wear anyway, but it's a headband. These are pretty. They're floral hair grips, but I like the idea of how they've put them onto a label, you know, for if you stitched them on or something onto or put them, you could even put them like that so that people could use them later. You know, as a label when you're giving a birthday present gift or something. Quite like that, even though they're floral hair grips. Now I do, this is one pattern I definitely will be making because I loved it last year, and for some reason never made myself any. I mean, I have problems with my wrists, as you know, not a secret. Got arthritis in both wrists, and my wrists and arms soon get cold even when I'm crocheting, so I do use things like that in the house rather than going outside. I mean, they would be nice to wear over a pair of, you know, fine gloves that you buy, not the knitted ones, the fine gloves, for a bit of extra warmth on your wrists, and because most gloves that I buy stop at the wrist, so these would be nice to come further down. Yeah, that's a slouch hat. That's called the Dancing Hearts wrap, but again, you know what I am with circles. That's something I would not make. Maybe I should ask the psychologist for a phobia thing about why I can't do circles. Same with that wildflower scarf. My niece saw a program, saw a scarf years back, done like in filigree flowers, and I did try my hardest to do it for her, but it just didn't work. Yeah. This is the ombre string cowl. I think they're more decoration, aren't they, than warmth, but they may be nice and warm, I don't know. Not made one, can't tell you. A blossom necklace. That is very pretty, but I know I would get knotted up in it, tangled up in it, strangled in it. I may try to be ladylike, but I really am not, you know. Granny square, clutch bag, pencil case, whatever you want to call it. It looks a bit flopsy. I would have to line it because my pencils are probably poked through my crochet. I don't have a tablet, but that's a tablet or a phone cover. Phone covers I do actually find useful. I haven't got one actually at the moment on my phone. But normally I have a phone cozy because it stops them getting scratched. I hadn't had one for this phone I've got now, and it's gotten terribly scratched. Star backpack. Again, something like that I would have to line it because it would just be very, very stiff and floppy. That's a weekender bag, but it's done in the very close together stitch. You know what they call it? I don't think it's Tunisian. No, it's just that, there's a name for it, isn't there, when you're doing like fair out, but in crochet. Oh, it's gone out my head. Gone out my head. You know what I mean anyway. And then we're on the last bit where we're just onto crochet techniques, which just tells you how to, you know, how to get started, how to do your stitches, how to do whatever. So that's basically it. Anyway, that's a book called Boho Crochet. And I think it's got different designers with it, in it, but it's the contributing editor is Marinka Slump. So, and I got this one through Amazon, but as usual I always buy my books on the cheaper end. I mean, I can't see that they're ever second-handed books because they're always so nice. I've only had the odd one that's been really scruffy, you know. And this one is Granny Square Crochet by Catherine Hirst. Catherine with a C. Hirst is Hirst. I do have a love of Granny Squares, as you know. Or Granny Stitch. You see, I love something like that. Which is, I don't know whether I'll get to find out whether it's a throw, a scarf, a stole, whatever it is. I love bright colours. That's just the way I am. I just like bright colours. I mean, that's... I'm not showing anything I shouldn't be because there's no patterns on this. That's a baby cardigan with the granny squares around the bottom. I mean, obviously that would be a little girl because you couldn't put that on a boy, really. Right, we got to the part that's for the home. Again, we're on Granny Stitch, but we're on a round cushion this time. So we've got mini squares, mug cozy again. That's something I've never made, probably won't ever. Yeah. Sunrise and flower, a pot holder. Again, I told you about the issues I have with burning pot holders. I'd rather set fire to something cheaper than making a pot holder by myself, yeah. Now that's a granny's... Oh God, this book's giving me a headache. That's a tea cosy, but to be quite honest, I can't see the point of that because if it's open at the lid, then the lid's going to, you know, the tea's going to go cold through the lid, isn't it? I think it's decoration, it makes it look posh, doesn't it? We always had the old-fashioned one, you know, that it popped on and pop off and it's all tea-stained and it looks really tatty. That was our tea cosy when I was growing up, when I used to drink tea. That would worry me slightly. I'd have to get a very low wattage bulb. I'd be worried about something setting on fire. Or if I was using acrylic, it melting. Now that one I wouldn't make either, an ottoman cover, you know. I'd imagine it would be very wobbly. And, you know, they've put the tea on it and I don't think it would be very good for tea, would it really? Flower garden table mats. When I was newly married I made table mats. But we finished up with the, you know, the bought ones, the cork ones, because you put a hot plate. Oh, look at me showing everything I've got here. You put something hot on a crochet table thing, and we had a wooden table, and the heat from the plate and everything just went through and made marks on the table. So we certainly didn't keep those long. That's a hexagon table runner. I only have a fold down table, so. What is wrong with this? I know now why this lady got rid of this top. I have to do something. It's going to have to add to my pile of sewing. Cotton square flannels. I must admit that I make my family washcloths every Christmas, and I get them some, you know, fancy handmade soaps to go with them. I make them dishcloths and washcloths. Because they don't, I mean, it's not like I'm making the same thing every year, because obviously they don't last a year, do they? They've been washed and thrown away by then. Granny Square cushion cover. I'm having trouble with this book because it's a really hardback book, and you know, trying to... Now that's a puffed square lap quilt. You've obviously got some padding in there somewhere. Or maybe you just put it over a quilt and stitch it over. That's quite pretty, if you like little dainty things. It's a sunflower square seat cover. Again, I made those when I was younger, in brighter colours of course, because we had wooden dining chairs that were very uncomfy for your bottom. I have made bunting, but mine was in vivid colours. Well, it wouldn't be me, would it, if it wasn't bright colours. I used to put it across my stall, you know, when I was doing the craft fairs. A light and bright bed cover. I haven't come across anything that's wearable at the moment yet. Christmas square stocking. I don't have anybody to make stockings for, so. Accessories, are we getting to a bit more wearable? Colourful clutch bag. Very pretty, but I'd probably drop it and lose it. I need something with a strap to put around my shoulders, otherwise I'd become. And I can't see any dogs of mine wearing Granny Square dog coat. Just not up my alley. Well, if I didn't have other things, I might make myself a roll thing, but I've got plenty of fabric ones that people have given me as presents over the years. So I don't actually need. What I'm on the lookout for is actually a wooden. I've seen some gorgeous wooden ones on Etsy with a hole like you put your crochet hooks in and you have them on the table. They don't export to the UK, and I've looked on the UK and I can't find any anywhere. So if anybody's got any bright ideas, if you're in the UK, let me know. I mean, I would buy one off Etsy. You know, I'm not averse to buying one, but when they don't export to the UK, what can I do? Never mind. That's a chunky, pointed cowl. I mean, I've tried having my hooks in different things like bowls and stuff, but I like them so I know where the sizes are, you know. If you had them in like a row, you know, it's basically two pieces of wood and the top one's got holes drilled in, obviously going smaller for your small hooks. A bit like a toothbrush holder, you know, only bigger. And then you know that, you know, you started at the bottom end with like your 375 and then you're going on